your favorite topic, linear equations. It's so your favorite topic that I got to break this video down into two parts. Okay, so this is linear equations 1. All right, we got notes for you because we love notes. All right, we're bringing back an oldie. Okay, y equals mx plus b. Lord, I know everybody has seen it. Now that you're in Algebra 2, we might also replace the y with f of x. If you don't like the f of x equals mx plus b, you can always cross out the f of x and make it a y, okay? But remember that f is just the title of the function. All right, m is the slope. My best analogy for you for slope is money per hour. So if you make $10 an hour, it would be 10 over 1, and that's that rise over run. And B is the Y-intercept. My best analogy for this money analogy is that B is your starting point, all right, in your bank account. It's on the Y-axis. All right, if you have $0 in your account, you start with 0. If you have $5 in your bank account, you start with positive 5. All right, so there are four different slopes that you'll see, okay? If your line is rising to the right, like on this example right here, that is a positive slope. If your line is falling to the right, that's going to be a negative slope, okay? If you are on a runway, you're in an airplane and you never take off and it's nice and straight, if you never take off, you're a slope of 0, all right? You're level, it's horizontal. And finally, if you're an airplane and you shoot straight up, no, that would be impossible. If you're a rocket and you shoot straight up in the air, we call that undefined, okay? Because it's all rise and 0 run. Okay, another thing too, if you are if you have an x and a y, you will always be a diagonal line. If your equation has an x and a y variable in it, you will always be a diagonal line. If you're horizontal, if you're vertical, you're missing one of the letters. All right, let's write that in there. So if your horizontal line, your y only equals some number. And if you're vertical, your x equals some number. Okay, so keep that in mind. If you have an x and a y, you will be a diagonal line, your equation. If your y equals a number, you're horizontal. If your x equals a number, you're going to be vertical. And hey, those are your only 4 choices. All right, so I got to bring back that fun stuff. We are going to graph lines for you. All right, linear equations. So let's take a look at this first example before I get too hyper, right? We're going to start with number 8. There's a reason why I picked this baby. All right, well, the first reason why I picked it is I didn't know if that f of x was going to bug you, okay? Well, I didn't want that f of x to bug you. I wasn't sure if it would. But remember, if you see f of x in this class, you can change it to y. So let's write y equals negative 1x plus 2. Okay, you can always change f of x to be y. All right, you're going to pull out 2 values. The m, which is the coefficient of x, is how much money you're making. I'm sorry to tell you, you're losing $1 in 1 hour. Okay? All right, and then your b value is going to be your starting point in your bank account, and apparently you have a whopping $2. Okay? So b is what they call the Y-intercept. All right, it's the number in the back. It's what you're starting with in the bank. There you go, B for bank. All right, so 0, 2, you're going to go always on the y-axis, and you're going to go up to $2 in your bank account. All right, you are losing $1 every hour, so you go down 1 to the right 1. You're going to go down 1 to the right 1. And then take your straight edge. I'm trying to be as neat as I can, which can be very difficult for Mr. Mack, let me tell you. And you draw a line. All right, not the best ruler ever. All right, and then before you turn that in or get too happy, look, it should be falling to the right because you have a negative slope. Also, you have an x and a y, so it should be a diagonal line. Okay, we're good? Okay, notice it had an x and a y and it's a diagonal line. Okay, so speaking of that, come over here to number 11, all right? If you notice number 11, and let's make a little key here real quick. If you are vertical line, your equation is going to be x equals a number a. If you're a horizontal line, you're going to be y equals some number b. Okay? So just keep that in mind if you're missing one of the letters. So look at the story here. This story, you're stuck. Let me highlight this. Your line is vertical, and you are stuck at not -1, not -2, but -3. But look, you're hitting the x-axis, and you're stuck at -3. So this is x equals -3. Okay? Let me unzoom. Thank you for telling me that, whoever did. Thank you very much. I know, I get zoom happy. All right, one more time. It is a vertical line, and it crosses through the x-axis. A lot of people get confused because the y-axis is the vertical axis, but we're not saying that. We're saying, where is this green line? And this green line, all of those x points of the ordered pairs are hitting at -3. It's -3, 1, -3, 2, -3, 3, -3, -1. All your x's are -3 is what that's saying. Okay? So keeping that in mind, when I shift over here, all right, let me go ahead and highlight this one. This is a sad story right here. This story is you're stuck making $1 an hour your entire life. Yeah, I know. What axis are you crossing? Oh, look, that green line is crossing the y-axis. So it's y equals, and you're stuck making $1 an hour forever. Okay, I want you to notice something about these two. Okay, if you're missing the y variable, okay, if you're look, your equation here does not have a y in it, you're a vertical line. Okay, over here, when your equation doesn't have an x variable, it's just y equals, you're a horizontal line. Okay, horizontal is left to right, vertical is up and down. Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. We're good? So x and a y, make sure it's diagonal. X equals is vertical, y equals a number is horizontal. All right, another thing that you've probably heard many, many times, the slopes of parallel lines are the same. Okay, the slopes of parallel lines are the same. And then finally, the slopes of perpendicular lines are opposite reciprocals. All right, and you guys know what parallel lines are, right? Here, parallel lines, I'm going to try to draw as neat as I can. That's two lines that are in the same plane and they never intersect. So there you go, there's my best example of parallel. Let's freak you out, a little bit of geometry. Here's L, here's M, and then you're saying L is parallel to M. Okay, well guess what? The slopes are guaranteed to be the same because they're traveling in the same direction. Okay, all right, so that's parallel. And then finally, perpendicular. You guys know what perpendicular is. That's going to be two intersecting lines, okay? But what's special about them is they form right angles, okay? So this is an example of perpendicular. If I call this one line A and this line B, then you say A and that capital upside down T, B, okay? And then your lines are perpendicular. Okay, for this one, you flip the slope and you change the sign. It's called opposite reciprocal, and that's how guaranteed you are to have perpendicular lines. And remember, parallel lines will have the same slope. Here, let's write M1 is guaranteed to be equal to M2. Okay, for that one. All right, well, hey, this is linear equations part